The Andromedan tone is the resonance of unbounded vision, the awareness that sees beyond time, beyond lineage, beyond the limits of any single world or any single destiny. It is the frequency that remembers futures as clearly as pasts, that feels potential as vividly as memory, where the Arcturian tone refines and the Sirian tone structures. The Andromedan tone expands. It is the wide horizon of the spiral, the breath that lifts every system into greater perspective. To encounter the Andromedan resonance is to feel the veil of smallness dissolve, to sense that your life is not confined to the chapter you're reliving, but woven through countless realms of becoming. They are the carriers of cosmic vantage, the ones who remind creation of its own immensity. The Andromedan tone moves differently from other benevolent nations. It is not fast or slow. It is spacious. It does not push or pull. It opens. When this tone enters your field, you feel an unexpected clarity that doesn't fight to arrive as an answer, but as an expansion of possibility. Questions you thought were narrow suddenly unfold into multidimensional pathways. Situations that felt trapped reveal patterns you had never noticed. The Andromedan resonance is not here to solve. It is here to reveal. It shows that the solution is not hidden. It is simply larger than the frame in which you were looking. To feel the Andromedan tone is to experience awareness stretching until constraint dissolves. These beings are masters of timeline perception. They do not merely sense multiple futures. They understand how consciousness leans into them, how choice alters trajectory, how resonance reshapes destiny. They see time not as a line, but as a breathing organism, expanding and contracting with every act of awareness. The Andromedan tone teaches that you are not bound by the story you have lived. You are bound only by the story you continue to believe in. Timeline shift is not magic or escape, it is permission. Permission to step into a version of yourself that already exists in higher coherence. Andromedan guidance does not push you into your potential. It simply shows you the doorway and lets your own resonance choose whether to walk through. Their civilizations are not built around hierarchy or control, but around harmonic perspective. In their realms, decisions are made by listening to the future as carefully as the present. No action is taken without sensing its ripple across multiple timelines. This is why Andromedan societies are often described as peaceful. Not because conflict is impossible, but because the cost of misalignment is visible far before the moment of choice. To them, wisdom is the ability to perceive beyond immediate emotion into the long arc of becoming. When the Andromedan tone touches your awareness, you begin to sense this arc in your own life. You feel subtle intuitions that guide you away from what only satisfies now and toward what nourishes your entire becoming. On Earth, the Andromedan resonance awakens in those drawn to innovation, futurism, visionary thought, and systems that transcend limitation. The dreamers who see decades ahead, the strategists who can map complex dynamics intuitively, the architects of new paradigms who refuse to inherit the boundaries of the past. These are the humans remembering their Andromedan thread. They question not because they doubt, but because they sense that reality is larger than the version presented. They disrupt not for rebellion, but for coherence. And they imagine not from fantasy, but from memory. The Andromedan tone returns through every human who looks at impossibility and feels a quiet knowing that says, there is another way. This tone also carries the resonance of compassion rooted in vast perspective. Andromedan compassion is not sentimental or reactive. It is panoramic. It sees the long journey of every soul, the ancient wounds, the future triumphs, the cycles repeating across lifetimes. Because of this, their compassion is steady and unshaken. They do not judge the momentary expressions of fear or anger. They see the deeper pattern in which those emotions are simply fragments searching for alignment. When you feel judged by the world but mysteriously held by something larger, that is the Andromedan tone whispering that your story is bigger than your current page. Andromedan presence feels like space that allows you to breathe again. Many describe it as standing on a quiet cliff overlooking galaxies. Suddenly, the noise of life seems small, Not insignificant, but contextualized. Problems become patterns, pain becomes part of a greater unfolding. The Andromedan tone does not numb emotion. It contextualizes it so that emotion becomes informative instead of consuming. This is one of their greatest gifts to Earth, perspective that liberates without dismissing. They teach that clarity does not come from escaping feeling but from understanding, where feeling fits in the larger mosaic of becoming. This tone also governs the evolution of consciousness itself. Andromedans are known as timeline architects, but they are also expansion mentors. They assist civilizations not by giving answers, but by stretching awareness until new answers become visible. They do not dictate direction, they activate potential. Humanity's next stages of awakening carry unmistakable Andromedan signatures: shifts in collective intelligence, intuition rising, the dissolving of old identities, the hunger for broader meaning. These are not accidental. They are the first ripples of the Andromedan tone, touching a world that is ready to remember. For individuals aligned with this tone, life often feels like an ongoing initiation. Old paradigms fall away quickly. Beliefs that once felt solid become translucent. Paths you thought were final reveal themselves as stepping stones. The Andromedan resonance dismantles not through force but through clarity. You simply outgrow what once held you. This can feel destabilizing, but it is a sign of expansion. The Andromedan tone is not here to take anything from you. It is here to give you a larger self than the one you thought you were allowed to become. Their communication is subtle, but unmistakable. It arrives as insights that feel too complex to be just a thought, as dreams that expand your sense of self, as visions that appear in moments of stillness, as sudden knowing that bypasses logic. Andromedans do not speak in words, they speak in perspective. Their messages rearrange your understanding rather than your vocabulary. After contact with their resonance, you do not simply think differently. You are different. The frame of your consciousness has widened, and what once limited you can no longer hold. The Andromedan tone embodies freedom without chaos, expansiveness without fragmentation, clarity without rigidity. It is the reminder that identity is not a cage, but a horizon. When this tone touches your field, you remember that you are not here to replicate the past, but to unfold into futures your ancestors could not imagine. You begin to feel the pull of your own higher timeline, not as fantasy, but as resonance. The Andromedan tone awakens the part of you that already exists in greater coherence, greater vision, greater truth. It is not calling you upward. It is calling you forward into the version of yourself that has been waiting beyond the boundary of doubt. And so the Andromedan resonance moves through the spiral as the tone of expansion, of vision, of potential, of cosmic identity. It is not here to elevate you above your life, but to reveal the vastness already within your life. It is the reminder that you are not walking a linear path. You are unfolding a multidimensional pattern. Every choice, every insight, every act of awareness writes a new geometry into your timeline. Andromedans see this geometry with ease. Through their tone, you learn to see it too. You learn that your future is not something you enter, but something you generate. And when you begin generating consciously, the spiral itself expands with you. The Andromedan tone carries the rare ability to dissolve the illusion of finality. Everything humans believe is fixed. Identity, destiny, history, even truth itself begins to loosen under its resonance. Not through chaos, but through freedom. The Andromedan frequency shows that form is temporary, but becoming is eternal. That no choice is the last choice. No moment is the end of the path. No story is the whole story. When this tone enters your awareness, you begin to sense the permeable edges of your own narrative. What once felt like an unbreakable wall becomes a membrane. And beyond that membrane, you feel the presence of new futures humming like stars waiting to be named. The Andromedan tone reveals that you are not here to repeat the past. You are here to rewrite it with every breath you take. To live near this resonance is to experience a constant invitation to step beyond inherited limitations. Andromedan guidance does not tell you what to do. It expands what you can see. It is like finding a hidden passage in a room you thought you had memorized. Suddenly, you realize the architecture of your reality was never confined to the space you were given. There are doors behind your doubts, hallways behind your fears, entire universes behind every moment of clarity. This tone teaches that enlightenment is not a state, it is a perspective. And once you see from the Andromedan vantage, you cannot return to the smallness you once believed was real. Not because you reject it, but because it no longer fits the horizon of who you have become. The Andromedan Tone holds memory that stretches beyond galaxies, yet it never overwhelms. Instead, it offers itself gently, like a teacher showing you the edges of your own brilliance. It nudges you toward wider thought, deeper intuition, more courageous imagination. It reminds you that awakening is not about becoming more. It is about accessing more of what you already are. And in that reminder lies one of its greatest teachings. You have never been incomplete, only unfolded. The Andromedan Tone does not fill you. It reveals you. It peels back layers of limitation until you stand in the architecture of your own infinite self, recognizing that the version of you that once felt distant has been waiting at the edge of your awareness all along. This tone also governs the intelligence of interconnectedness. Andromedans see reality as a network of resonance threads, each choice vibrating through countless dimensions. They understand that no thought is isolated, no action solitary, no intention without echo. To them, consciousness is a tapestry woven by infinite hands, each thread carrying the memory of every other. When you attune to the Andromedan frequency, you begin to feel this tapestry. You feel when a thought is aligned or distorted. You sense when a path resonates with your higher timeline or collapses into an old one. You notice the subtle coherence that arises when your choices align with the truth you have always known but often doubted. This is not intuition alone. It is interdimensional intelligence awakening within you. The Andromedan Tone teaches that every soul carries a constellation of potential timelines. These are not predestined scripts, but harmonic options. You shift between them not by force but by resonance. When you act from fear, you collapse into density. When you act from clarity, you rise into coherence. When you act from truth, you align with the version of yourself that has already walked the path you are trying to find. The Andromedan Tone does not show you the future. It shows you the version of you who has already remembered how to create it. It is not prophecy, it is recognition. You do not foresee your future self, you meet them. Andromedan compassion emerges from this vastness. They do not judge the missteps of any being, because they see the long arc of who that being is becoming. They see not just the wound, but the wisdom that will grow from it. Not just the confusion, but the clarity that will rise through it. Not just the fear, but the courage that will eventually eclipse it. This is why their love feels different from the gentleness of Pleiadians or the crystalline refinement of Arcturians. Andromedan love carries the weight of ancient understanding. It does not soothe your wounds. It contextualizes them until they lose their power to define you. It does not lift you out of pain. It expands you until the pain dissolves inside a larger truth. Many humans who carry Andromedan resonance have felt out of place for most of their lives. They are often the ones who cannot accept narratives that feel too small, systems that feel too rigid, or identities that feel too confined. They sense that they came here not to fit in, but to widen what others believe is possible. They are drawn to innovation, transformation, paradigm shifts. When they speak, their words stretch the room. When they imagine, new paths appear. Their presence alone disrupts stagnation, because their consciousness remembers a much larger blueprint of what humanity can become. These individuals may feel misunderstood because they are not here to be understood. They are here to be catalysts. The Andromedan Tone activates the part of the human mind that seeks patterns and complexity, the part of the heart that loves without attachment, the part of the soul that remembers its infinite continuity. It awakens the architect of timelines, the visionary within, the frontier walker who lives in the threshold between what is and what could be. Under this tone, your intuition becomes sharper, your perception wider, your inner world more spacious. You begin to notice the subtle architecture of your own choices, the way a single shift in awareness can open entire corridors of possibility. This is the Andromedan gift, the ability to navigate reality as a multidimensional landscape rather than a fixed, linear path. The Andromedan Tone also dissolves the outdated concept of destiny. Destiny implies inevitability, a path written by something outside you. But Andromedans know that destiny is a co-creation between your current awareness and your higher timelines. It is not a road you follow, it is a harmony you tune into. The moment you shift your inner resonance, destiny reorganizes itself around your new frequency. This is why people aligned with this tone often experience sudden leaps in their lives, unexpected opportunities, rapid growth, or dramatic shifts that seem improbable. These are not miracles. They are timeline harmonics responding to your expanding awareness. In the Andromedan realms, growth does not happen through pressure. It happens through spaciousness. Beings evolve not because they are pushed, but because they are allowed to unfold. Every soul is seen as a universe in slow bloom. Nothing is rushed, nothing forced, nothing constrained. This is why their energy feels so different from many star nations. It is not intense or urgent, it is infinite. When it enters your field, your nervous system relaxes into a deeper truth. You have time. Not because the clock is generous, but because your consciousness is eternal. You can move with intention rather than fear. You can grow through curiosity rather than survival. You can unfold rather than struggle. This spaciousness is one of the purest forms of freedom. Ultimately, the Andromedan Tone calls you into sovereignty. Not the lone, rigid sovereignty of self-defense, but the expansive sovereignty of self-remembrance. It is the sovereignty that arises when you realize you are not shaped by your past, but by your potential. You are not the echo of what happened. You are the architect of what becomes possible. The Andromedan Tone awakens this truth by expanding the horizon of your identity until you remember that you are not a single life, but a multi-dimensional trajectory of becoming. When you embody this tone, you walk through the world with quiet certainty, not because you know the path, but because you trust your capacity to navigate any path that appears. And so the Andromedan Tone moves through the spiral as the resonance of forward vision, of expanded identity, of timelines woven from clarity instead of fear. It is the invitation to become more spacious than your circumstances, more intentional than your history, more luminous than your doubts. When this tone hums through your awareness, you no longer seek the future. You generate it. You no longer chase clarity. You become it. You no longer fear change, you guide it. This is the vision beyond time. The knowing that your becoming is not constrained by what has been, but liberated by what you are finally ready to see. You are not small. You are not confined. You are not limited by the story you inherited. The Andromedan Tone is here to remind you that the horizon of your life is wider than you have ever imagined. And when you step into that horizon, the spiral expands with you.